Would you believe me if I told you that I did not intentionally pick the Jaws shirt for the summer TBR video? Hi friends! Welcome back, or if you're new here, my name's Destiny, and today I want to talk to you about my summer TBR. I actually decided recently that I'm not going to be making monthly TBRs anymore. They just haven't been working out well for me for a long time. That said, I wanted to still allow myself to do an occasional TBR, and so I thought a seasonal TBR would be a good one to keep up with because I usually actually do pretty well with my seasonal TBRs. That said, I failed at the majority of my spring TBR. I'm just going to run through a really quick update on those and then we'll go ahead and move on to the summer TBR. On my spring TBR, I had Children of the Dark by Jonathan Janz, which I did not get to, The Switch House by Tim Meyer, which I did not get to, The Whites of Their Eyes by Zen, which I did get to very recently and I really liked it, Dead as a Doornail by Charlaine Harris, which I did get to, Hunting Ground by Patricia Briggs, I did not read, Shiver by Maggie Stiefvater, I did not get to, Always Never Yours by Emily Wibberley and Austin Siegmann-Broca, I did not get to, Long Shot by Kennedy Ryan, I didn't get to, but I almost put it back on my summer TBR and I do still want to read it really soon, Beyond Shame by Kit Roca, I did not get to this one, and This Is How You Lose the Time War by Emil Imhoter and Max Gladstone. I didn't get to that one either, however I do still plan to read it before June is out. So yeah, 20% of my seasonal TBR. Good job, me. But who cares? Moving on, for my summer TBR, I decided to go with a slight theme. Normally, I will pick books that fit a certain theme as far as like a genre or a trope that I'm really into right then. But for my summer TBR, I decided to do something different. I decided to pick 5 overdue review copies and 5 backlist titles that I own, like books that I actually purchased or were given as a gift. So to jump right into the review copies, the first one is going to be Riot Baby by Tochi Onyebuchi. I honestly cannot believe I haven't read this yet because I was so excited to get this in the mail. Side note, if you're wondering why it's so shiny right here, yes, that is tape. It came super damaged when the publisher sent me a copy, and I really love this dust jacket and didn't want to throw it away, so there's so much tape holding this thing together. Anyways, this is one that I've been really meaning to read, and obviously it's very timely right now with the Black Lives Matter movement. That said, as a side note, first of all, obviously Black Lives Matter is not a new movement. It's been important since long before 2020. It's going to be important long past June, okay? So please do not treat this like a trend. More than that, if you are not a Black individual and you've been picking up a lot of books by Black authors right now, one, make sure that you're not just focusing on books about Black pain. We need to be celebrating Black joy too. There are so many books out there by Black authors that are about so much more than police brutality and racism, and we need to be picking up those too, okay? So don't treat this like it's just a homework assignment, because I feel like I'm seeing a lot of people who almost act like this is a homework assignment. Oh, I'm gonna read as many books by Black authors about racism as I can in June, and then I'm not gonna pick any more up for the rest of the year. That's not okay. Okay, I'm sorry to rant here for a second, but that's not okay, and you can't do that. Obviously, this is just me speaking specifically to non-Black individuals, mainly fellow white people. We gotta do better, okay? Just chiming in real quick because I'm watching this back, editing it, and I'm realizing that it kind of sounds like I'm trying to imply that I'm not part of the problem, and it sounds a little bit like I am preaching at other white people while ignoring my own place in this system. And I want to make it abundantly clear that that's not my intention, because I think that there is so much more that I can do better every single day. There's so much that I have left to learn. And so please just know that I am preaching to myself as much as I'm preaching to anybody else. And I also wanted to add this because I wanted to say that if you are a white person watching videos, scrolling through tweets, whatever, listening to people, if you are hearing these kind of things and you're thinking, well, that's not me, like I'm better than that and that doesn't apply to me, like please know that's probably not the case. We all have things that we need to improve, that we need to be better about. So, you know, please be open to learning, be open to changing and to bettering yourself, because it's only going to make this a better place. Anyways, I'm really excited to read this. I've been meaning to read something by Tochi for a long time. I feel like I've heard so many rave reviews about his work. And so yeah, this is the first thing that I want to pick up off of this TBR. The next overdue review copy that I want to read is The Return by Rachel Harrison. I really thought that I would have read this before it came out because it sounded really interesting, but then I started hearing a lot of really mediocre reviews and it made it a little bit less exciting. But something about this just really pulls me in. It might just be the cover, honestly. Also, I've heard so much back and forth from people over whether this should have been classed as horror or a thriller, and I feel like people are very quick to classify thrillers as horror just because they're really dark, but they're not the same thing. So I personally am really interested to read this and kind of form my own opinion on which genre I personally believe it falls into. Speaking of horror, the next one on my list is Echoes, the Saga Anthology of Ghost Stories. This is edited by Ellen Datlow, who's absolutely one of my favorite anthology editors of all time. I think she's incredible. She's got such a way with picking out incredible stories. So I'm very, very hyped for this. However, this anthology is over 800 pages long, and I know that may not sound like very long to some of you, but I've only ever read one super long anthology before, and it was World Seen in Passing, the 10 years of Tor.com's best short stories collection or whatever, which was a great collection, by the way. But it was a thing to get through. Like, it was a lot of short stories, especially because I tend to like to review anthologies story by story. I really like to give each story its own star rating and like maybe a 1 or 2 sentence mini review if I can. And when you get to a certain number of stories, that's just kind of not feasible. I think this collection is over 30. I might just do like a best and worst of review or something, but I am really excited to read it. I don't think Ellen Datlow's gonna let me down. I love ghost stories, so this might just be one that I work on throughout the whole summer. Next is The Library of the Unwritten by AJ Hackwith. I really don't know much about this. I think that it's like a library in hell. I'm not really sure. Honestly, this came in the mail unsolicited. I had no idea what it was. And it didn't actually sound all that intriguing to me, which is kind of weird in hindsight because I love stories about libraries and I love stories set in hell. So really it should have been right up my alley, but for some reason it just didn't really click with me from the synopsis. But now, like, a few months have gone by and I've seen so many of my favorite reviewers just absolutely raving about this, comparing it to other books that I love and just really making it sound so good. So I'm getting really stoked for it. So I definitely want to try to pick this one up soon. And then the last arc that I have on the list is The Wives by Taryn Fisher. This has honestly gotten some of the worst reviews of any book that I own. I actually think the last time I checked that the current average rating for this on Goodreads is like between 3 and 3.2. I've only ever read one book by Taryn Fisher before, and it was Mudvayne, and I really loved it. So I've just been craving more of her writing. So I don't know, we'll see. My taste in thrillers is kind of odd sometimes. There are a lot of really popular thrillers that I don't like, and there are a lot of very unpopular thrillers that I do like. So maybe I'll get lucky and this will be like a total home run for me. The next 5 books on my summer TBR are books that I purchased myself and just haven't gotten to yet. One of them is actually a freebie, but whatever. The first one is Alice by Christina Henry. I love Christina Henry's writing so much. I think she's absolutely magical. Her way with words is incredible, and she's so good at taking these fairy tales and really exposing this like dark underbelly of them. For some reason, Christina Henry's books just feel like summer reads to me. I don't know if that makes any sense because I know a lot of people do not associate dark fantasy and horror with summertime. I think it's just the fact that I think all of her books that I read during summer. Maybe part of it also is because I tend to associate summer with like really quick, engaging reads that I want to just tear through the whole thing in one sitting. And that has been my experience with all of Christina Henry's books so far, is that I just want to read them all in one sitting. The next book on the list is going to be On the Come Up by Angie Thomas. I don't know why I haven't read this yet. Feel free to come chew me out in the comments, honestly. The next book on the list is another one that I don't know why I haven't read yet, and that is House of Earth and Blood by Sarah J. Maas. I don't really need to say anything about this. I think everything I could say has been said about it. I'm just really looking forward to it. The next one on my list is Tunnel of Bones by Victoria Schwab. I should put a counter on the screen for how many times I say I can't believe I haven't gotten to this book. I loved City of Ghosts so much. I thought it was absolutely adorable. I really loved Cassidy. And it's been too long since I've read a really good spooky middle grade book, so yeah. And then the last thing on my summer TBR is Full Tilt by Emma Scott. I think I'm buddy reading this with Misty. I have heard so many good things about Emma Scott's writing. I think this is a new adult romance. I really don't know anything about it. It was a freebie on the Kindle store like a month or 2 ago, and so many people had recommended me other books of hers that I just went ahead and picked it up. I'm really craving some like really angsty romance right now, which is what I've been told a lot of her romance is. So I'm going to try to get to that one this summer too. And yeah, that's it. That is my summer TBR. Those are the 10 books that I'm going to try really hard to get to between now and September. And just come talk to me. Let me know what's on your summer TBR, or is there a theme? Is there a certain type of book that you really like to reach for in the summer? Or I guess winter if you're in the Southern Hemisphere. And yeah, I hope that your day is going amazingly. I love you all a lot. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you in another video again soon. Bye!